Good morning, aspirant. I am back with new topic. And first of all, happy Diwali to all of you. Those who are enjoying yesterday and those who are enjoying today. There is difference between the day also. Okay. So I hope ki everyone is enjoying eco-friendly, sustainable Diwali. And with this festival season, I would talk about the some healthy habits of like healthy celebration, sustainable, eco-friendly celebration of Diwali. Okay, before that, I would like to mention we are now entering into the this arena. 220 two 216 days are remaining for your prelims. I hope you will come on track gradually, because this is important. If you don't come on the track gradually, if you spend more than 5 to 6 days on this particular festival season, after this there will be the very I would say there will be the n number of festivals that will come and you will spend too much time. So my point is this: festival you should enjoy, you enjoy with eco-friendly habits, eco-friendly practices. Apart from this, along with this, you should give some time for your studies. Okay, and let's begin with our today's current affair topics. First is, like as usual, the happy Diwali things and how eco-friendly we can celebrate the Diwali. Okay, this is a best PI yesterday, because worldwide World Wildlife Fund, they have decided to just promote the eco-friendly Diwali habits. So I have just taken this pic, and I will discuss how we can spend Diwali. Then our next is, yesterday there is very big achievement for India's global diplomacy, particularly the patent issues. In that patent issue, we will discuss what are the patent regime in India, and what exactly why in the news. Okay, then the last, as we saw the every year, our honorable Prime Minister used to celebrate Diwali with our armed forces. Yesterday he celebrated Diwali with on the INS Vikrant, which is dock currently in the Karwar base. Okay, so we will discuss this 3 to 4 articles, and last, if time permit, we will discuss about India-Brazil bilateral ties. Okay, so first is why this. What is Green Diwali means? What is Green Diwali? Okay, this is nothing but inculcating the best eco-friendly habits. We should enjoy, we should burn the firecrackers, we should not smoke the firecrackers. Because if you see, recently Supreme Court also allowed to use the firecrackers, green firecrackers particularly. What are the chemicals used in the fire? Barium sulfate, if you know the one. Why this is important? Because this barium sulfate is smoke generating. It is not good for health. Okay, barium sulfate and the other sulfate compounds, barium compounds, that are used in your firecrackers, which led to the creation of the air pollution and everything. Already in Delhi NCR region, winter is approaching, and we know the this pedal burning, everything, that issue will burn, staple burning, that will lead to the once again the air pollution crisis. So to enjoy the eco-friendly prices, eco-friendly practices, for the Green Diwali, there are certain recommendations recommended by the World Life Mission Life along with the Worldwide Fund. Okay, what are these? Use the eco-friendly diyas and candles. Then the sustainable practices, like sustainable James, sustainable carry bags, not the polythene carry bags. Okay, single use plastic. They decorate naturally, make use of natural colors, then minimize the best community events, plantation, cleanup drives. We can organize such kind of initiatives, because ultimately that is going to help, and that is going to help in the long term. We have launched the Mission Life. The what is objective of Mission Life? Objective of Mission Life is this only: we should inculcate the best sustainable practices in our daily lives, that will help us to imbibe, that will help us to contribute in the ecological development, sustainable economic development. Okay, sustainability is important for the overall, even the festival, any festival season, either that is Holi, Eid, or Diwali, we should inculcate the sustainable practices, reducing the waste, reducing the use of single-use plastic, then the more focus on the jute bag, because ultimately what matters is we are enjoying Diwali, but someone they are not enjoying Diwali as we are enjoying. So, if possible, try to contribute in their lives also by buying the mud mud bricks, diyas. Okay, even the but diyas in general, instead of ordering online, you can go and you can go in market and you can buy that the diyas and everything. Okay, so by these notes, I will start. Diwali is already underway, but I thought that I should say something about this as a as a mentor. I would say ki this is my prime duty to guide my mentees in the proper direction, and this is the proper direction to enjoy the happy green Diwali. Okay, by these notes, I will end our this Diwali. Then the Diwali discussion tomorrow is also the Diwali, but have some healthy practices, healthy sustainable practices for yourself, for society, for nation and planet as a whole. Okay, so we will discuss our first topic. This is India's intellectual property rights IPR regime. In this, we will discuss what is IPR. Then we will discuss types of IPR, because generally, whenever we talk about the intellectual property rights, we end up with talking about the patent, but it is not limited to the patent. This is the beyond the patent. And why this is in the news? The news is India's once again achieving the milestone about the Justice Pratibha M. Singh, sitting judge of the Delhi High Court, is the her selection for the chair of advisory board judges of the World Intellectual Property Organization. This organization deals with WIPO. This organization deals with the issues related to intellectual property rights, intellectual property trademarks, everything. Then I will discuss what are the types of intellectual property. Before that, first, what is WIPO? Intellectual World Intellectual Property Organizations. Okay. Then I will discuss the whole. See, this is a full form WIPO. Then Specialized Agency of UN, established in 1967, then 1970. Okay, and do remember TRIPS. Okay, trade related aspect of property rights. Okay, this TRIPS. Okay, this TRIPS of WTO agreement is different from the WIPO. Okay, see, this TRIPS and TRIPS agreement are implemented by WTO, World Trade Organization. This is a World Intellectual Property Organization, Paris Convention, Berne Convention. Okay, and that conventions are implemented by the WIPO. WIPO maintain and protect and promote the intellectual property rights regime at a global level. And this is the achievement of India, as India's one of the judge is now the in the panel of advisory chairpersons. Those who are judges means giving the advice at the global level. This is very good achievement. It is giving the recognition India's overall how India's patent regime is strong. Okay, we will discuss what are the implications of this, but before that, we will discuss the WIPO. Okay, this is the World WIPO Convention 1970. Headquarters is Bureau of the Protection, predecessor the United International Bureaus of the Protection of Intellectual Property Rights. Membership 190. India is a member of this organization. Do remember. Okay, that's why. Okay, India's judge is re-elected for this advisory judges panel. Okay, then motto: to encourage the creative functions, to promote and protect. Promotion and protection is important. Intellectual property rights globally provide the international. In this domain, we will discuss more about the what are the issues, achievement of India's IPO, because this is a part of your GS3 syllabus, science and technology. And if you remember, 2024 UPSC asked the one question on intellectual property rights. Okay, what is the status of India's intellectual property rights? Because that is important for not only the GS3 but overall where our innovation, research and development is heading forward to achieve the goal of Vikasit Bharat by 2047. Okay, so this is overall 26th and most important international patent treaty, IPT, or patent cooperation treaty. Okay, key areas covered: patent, copyright, trademark, industrial design, geographical indications, trade and secrets, all these are comes under the your IPR regime. Okay, IPR regime. I will discuss what is meaning of each and everything. The key implications for this selection. It gives Indian judiciary an IP system, a moral and practical endorsement at a globally. How? Because if your member, your practices are recognized at a global level, this automatically boosts your standard. What the practices you are implementing, what the practices you are practicing, that is the global standard, the so-called precedence level. Okay, because ultimately this is going to be recognition of India's legal system. Okay, so this is the importance for India. Then the what is important for the WPO and the having the chair the strong experience in development in the context of India means a more balanced perspective beyond just western developed countries develop. Yes, this is also true. How this is true? If you see, till now most of the international organizations, they are dominated by the western ideas, western judges, western countries. But now just this BRICS countries, how the BRICS countries are evolving. The BRICS countries, and in BRICS also, China, India, Russia, and India is prominently contributing in the vaccine diplomacy. This so-called the functional areas of health sector, education. Okay, and this is one of the sector where India is positively contributing, and this will help WIPO to balance the East-West divide. Okay, and reduce the East-West divide in the adding the new perspective in the intellectual property rights, because India's intellectual property rights considered as very strong and very rigid system. Okay, so this is the intellectual property right maintenance. Then what are for the creator? It suggests that IP adjudication, especially in India, is gaining robustness, which could be increased about Indian. That means ki India's IP system, IPR system is gaining the robust, is gaining the recognition at the global level, and those who are want to create those who want to register their patent, they will get easy access because our member is there at a global level. If any Indian creator want to register a patent at a global level in the WIPO, this will help for India, that creator, to get the help from the our Indian representative. Okay, so this is the, and then jurisprudence and policy advisory board under the leadership of might push for the harmonization of IP code practices. There are issues with related to the digitalization. There are issues with the divide, and there are issues about the how the practices are performed at a WIPO. But the one more member from the developing country will help overall the global south to present its narrative. Okay, so this is importance for India, importance for WPO, importance for the WIPO, then importance for the individual, also importance for the creation. This is the implications, positive implications of the being Indian voice at the advisory board. Okay, so this is overall our recent news, recent development. Now we are going to discuss in broader context. That was the news, but now we are discuss what are the IPR regime, India's IPR regime, success of India's IPR regime. Okay, progressive progress. Okay, then what are the challenges in this India's IPR regime? Then way forward suggested by the commissions. Okay, IPR types of IPR. Okay, so first is what is IPR? IPR India's framework is divided, means India is a member of the WIPO since its independence. Before that, India was a member of the Paris Convention. Okay, and India adopted the IPR. India provided the under Article 19, India provide the India protect the expression, creative expression, innovation, novelty, okay, and some commercial use. So this is constitutionally guaranteed the right to produce its tangible and intangible innovations. Ultimately, individual freedoms leads to the development of the society. Whatever the innovations we are seeing, that is the result of the individual or collective efforts, and this collective efforts needs recognition, needs commercial recognition. That commercial recognition through royalty. India have Indian Patent Act. I will discuss the overall the first before IPR is nothing but the recognition of intangible your efforts. Okay, collective or individual effort. So what are the types of IPR? First is patent, a legal protection for the new innovation, guaranteeing exclusive right for the inventor to make use for the sale out. This is 20 years. This is India's. Do remember this year? Generally, they used to ask what exactly in 2019 they asked the Indian Patent Act, how exactly Indian Patent Act, there is any regulatory board in India. Okay, so do remember this is a patent is for 20 years, and that to be renewal. Need to be then the copyright protection for the literary, artistic, musical, software works. Okay, books, film, computer. Okay, then the trademark, distinctive sign, symbol, then industrial design, protection for the visual design, shape, aesthetic appearance. Okay, so all this are comes under the intellectual property rights, not only the patent. Patent is just one aspect. One more, it is that is a geographical indication. This UPSC asked in 2018, geographical indication is under WIPO or WTO. See, broader context, it is comes under IPR, but specifically WTO have one treaty on the geographical indications, so it comes under WTO, not under WIPO. Broader context, it always comes under the WIPO, but the specific particular context, it comes under the WTO, and this only UPSC asked in 2018-19 prelims. Geographical indications, then trade secrets. Trade secret might be the plant varieties and farmers' right. We have the Act of 2001, Plant Varieties Farmers Protection Act. We will discuss what exactly what are the act's legal protections given to the intellectual properties. Okay, so these are the patent and types of patent. These are the IPR, intellectual property rights, and their types. Okay, so now we will move forward. I hope you are getting. This is the key aspect of India's legal system. Legal recognition under the multiple WTO arrangement. Nodal ministry, do remember DPT and Ministry of Commerce. Okay, Ministry of Commerce, and this is very important because there is one commissionerate, directorate for the trade and remedies, foreign trade and remedies, there are trademarks and patent. There is one office. If you visit this trade related aspects of the IPR, this is comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This is a broader aspect of patent related aspect, but there are certain like farmer related patent that comes under the different, the biological patent that comes under different. PTA might be a biological diversity authority. Okay, so this is one nodal agency, Office of Directorial Control General of Patent, Design, Trademarks. So this patent, design, trademarks are controlled by this Office of the Controller General of Patent. Then policy framework, this is the Creative India. Then international membership, India is a member of Patent Cooperation Treaty, India is a member of WIPO. Okay, then what are the act and policies which protect the overall intellectual property rights in India? We have n number of acts which deals with the specific trade related aspect, trade secrets, and the various intellectual property rights. So first is Geographical Indication Act. Then see, Trade Patent Act as amended. This amendment is important. Then Grant Exclusive Copyright Act 1957. Then Trademarks Act. Then the Design Act. Then Geographical Indication. This was asked in 2018 prelims question. This was asked in 2019 prelims question. Okay, so do remember. Okay, what is the definition of patent? It is also important. Okay, this copyright related act, this was asked in 2020. So do remember this kind of things: Act, Patent Act, Copyright Act, Trademarks Act, Design Act, Goods and Services Act. Okay, I hope you are getting the idea, because these are the important patent, trademarks, geographical indications. There are specific acts for the specific intellectual property rights. This is important for your overall understanding and for your overall aspect of studies related for the prelims also or mains also. Do remember, we are following one study approach. So next one is, as I mentioned, there are different the Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Act. Then the protection of plant variety, as I mentioned, this is for the plant farmers right and plant varieties. Okay, this is important as this plays a crucial role in the protection of Farmer Varieties Act. Okay, farmer varieties. Then the Biological Diversity Act, this is biological resources and associated knowledge. We have heard the term BSD. Okay, biodiversity convention. Convention on the biodiversity 1992. India is a member. That convention is binding, and in that context, India have enacted this act. This act protects the access and benefit sharing to the ground level, to the particularly the native people. Okay, it protects the patent related to the biological resources. Similarly, the plant varieties protection protect the patent related to the farmers varieties related to plant. Okay, so do remember, our main office is Controller General of Patent, Trademarks and Copyrights Act. This controls the overall three aspects: trademarks, first one trademark, patent, and trade secrets. Okay, Apart from this, geographical indication also controlled by, we have the office for the geographical indication secretary, and that is implemented in the different level. Okay, but the same nodal ministry is same, but for the plant varieties nodal ministry is different, and for the biological assets there is nodal ministry is different, that is ministry of, or the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Okay, so these are the, now this is the basic details. Now how exactly the intellectual property regime, its regulation, its type, and how act are regulated. Now this is basic static. Now come to the progressive, means now come to the main part, how India is progressing in the intellectual property rights. If you see, according to 2023 data, there are more than 90,000 patents filed in India in a one single year. Okay, in 190,000 patents, this is very huge number. And globally, the innovation system in India stand very strong, stand at sixth global position. Okay, India have the sixth global, so India have the n number of schemes also. Then startup culture is growing in India. Semiconductor, particularly the innovation in the semiconductor, critical mineral mission, then the AI startup. If you see the RTI AI, Perplexity AI, these are nothing but the Indian innovations, and that need to be protected. Okay, so we will discuss the applications. See, this is the overall India sixth rank, then the resident and non-resident. 55% is, see, anyone can file the patent in India's computer means control general of patent office. That resident, non-resident, that include company also, non-company, not citizen. Do remember, resident is different from the citizen. Okay, so this is the this much, and around 55% is by Indians and 45% is by non-resident. Okay, then patent grants, this much patent grants is granted, around 149% from the 2000. Then patent to GDP ratio 144, this is the rank. India increased from 144 to the 381. Okay, then trademark filing, then the industrial design, geographical India 500 plus. These are providing the employment, generation, providing the recognition, providing the robust system. We will discuss what are the importance of the patent system. I means overall the intellectual property rights. Okay, so these are the significant. These are the startup awareness, the Nipun Bharat, DIPT. This much startups are recognized, digital infrastructure. So why this milestone has been achieved? Because there are n number of government policies which promote the patent and patent, so which promote the intellectual property system regime in India. So we will discuss what are these, particularly the schemes, policies which are promoting the intellectual property rights in India. Okay, so first let's discuss with the world. This is the, see, India is securing the position top 10 countries of Patent Trademarks Act. This you should remember. Then the trademarks, India ranked fourth globally in the trademark margin, the 6% increase. Okay, now government in National Intellectual Property Policy 2000. This specifically focus on the comprehensive framework for the IP address for the commercialization, integrate the patent, trademarks, and copyright. Okay, then this much. And this is the increase, the amendment to the IPR laws. We have considerably amendment the intellectual property right awareness mission, then technology innovation. We have launched the national education policy, which more focus on the research and development. And in 2023, we have National Research Foundation organized with the outlay of the particularly the 1 lakh crore fund in the coming 20 years we will spend on the research and development. We have target to spend around 2% of India's GDP on the research and development. Then Atal Innovation Mission, providing the semiconductor in the industry manufacturing sector. We are providing the assets, we are providing the digital India mission, which provide the fund to the financial assistance, those who are promoting the intellectual property rights. Okay, so this is a how government is proceeding, how government is supporting the intellectual property regime in India. Okay, what are the benefits of this intellectual property regime? We are going to discuss these benefits in this next slide. Do remember this pedagogy, holistic startup India. So just GDP, employment, okay, GDP, employment, okay, then economy, in economy also FDI, robustness, global recognition, global recognition, formalization. These are the importance of the India's patent, means India's intellectual property rights. GDP, how it is contributing to promote the GDP. See, if innovations are more, there will be the more commercialization. Commercialization will promote the overall the demand and supply. If demand is high, supply will be very high, and ultimately will contribute to the GDP growth of India, domestic market GDP growth. That's why the patent filing in the new AI domain, artificial intelligence, generative AI, we are contributing lot of things in the this, and this ultimately leads to the GDP growth, contributing the GDP. Okay, then employment generation. If you see, this is the startup number, around 80% startup. This is the presently 27 lakh thousand startups are there which are providing the employment. 27 lakh 27 sorry 27 million provided the startup providing the employment. Okay, so these employments ultimately provide the aim, it will reduce the poverty, it will help to the first generation learner, those who are working in the, those who are aspiring to contribute in the Indian economy. So employment generation will happen. If once employment generation happens, this will lead to the reduction of the poverty, reduction of the means in social prosperity, economic prosperity. Okay, so this will help, because startup system led by the innovation led by the patent and IPR will provide the employment. Okay, the next one is your economic generation, economic overall FDI. If there is good startup, then there will be the more FDI flow with there will be the more FDI flow in India. And if you see, the around 117 billion US dollar has been inflow from the Europe in last 25 years in the startup ecosystem, in the innovation service sector. And this is the reason India's service sector is booming, because more FDI is coming in the service sector rather than in other sectors. Okay, then the fourth importance of the patent, right? Just think about, we are protecting the farmers, we are protecting the farmers, we are providing the good quality seeds with that also indigenously developed the seed, unlike the Monsanto. Okay, Monsanto is BT cotton and everything. How it will help in India's farmer, which is 55% of India's Indian workforce is depend on the agriculture, so prosperity in the agriculture sector. And the next one will the, if you are providing the startup culture, if you are providing the innovation, then ultimately it will lead to the formalization of economy, and this formalization of economy will help India to be a global power, because formalized in India, still 81% Indian economy is informal. And to reduce this informality, this UPI pay, Aadhaar based enabled payment system, all these are the innovations. All these are the innovations from the government sources or either non-government sources, private sources, but this government are fueling the overall economic growth. Okay, so this is the competitiveness of global level. See the startup culture in China, see the startup culture in USA, see the startup culture in Japan. They are far ahead than us. But if we are supporting, if our startup culture, we are providing the fund, infrastructure, everything, then this automatically will lead to the competitiveness at a global level. And this recent yesterday's appointment at a global WIPO chairperson for the Indian member is one of the global recognition, which shows that the robustness of India's patent, India's IPR system, intellectual property rights system. Okay, so now, despite this success, Atal Innovation Mention, I have mentioned this start in this Atal Innovation Mention, Atal Tinkering Lab, all these are contributing in India's overall IPR progress. Okay, now despite this much contribution, there are issues which hindering the India's potential in IPR. What are these issues? We are going to discuss these issues. See, the first issue is weak enforcement of the laws. In India, there are evergreening of the patent issues, there evergreening of the evergreening is not allowed in India particularly, and the licensing, then the government sometimes will take during the COVID-19. This was the big issue. Okay, then there is a more private, more government investment rather than the private players. If you see, out of 55%, more or less, CSIR and IITs file 90% patent. That is means government. In this, 80% is spent by the government expenditure, and only 20% support the startup culture, means private players. So this is a dichotomy which hinders. Government has limitations. Government, if it's trying to spend on this long gestation period, then automatically this will, because if government is investing too much, not government should invest, but if government is investing too much, 80% of their allocated fund to the innovation, then that innovation government services are for the all, and it will not lead to promotion of that much income, which will be rebossed, it will be produce push for the high demand, and commercialization will not happen at that much level. So there is issue that government is spending more, weak law enforcement is there, government spending is more than the private player, then the lack of awareness, we don't register small things. But in USA there was one issue to just carry the dog, one thread was there, that was also patented by one of the individual. But in India there is lack of awareness about the patent related issues. We have very weak, despite very subcontinent like country, we have only 500 plus geographical indications. Just think about, if you cross the 30, 40 kilometer, you will find the new area, new space, new dialectic. But despite this much, our geographical indications are just 500 plus. This is a cause for concern. This is one of the issues is hindering the development of the IPR in India. Okay, the next, delayed patent examination. This is the very big issue around this much. See, this is, I have mentioned the 12 to 18 months need to the approval, inadequate IP codes and expertise. Okay, this absence of specialization tribunal, this also led to the delayed case enforcement, delayed case judgment, and this will ultimately demoralize those who want to invest. If any issue arise, those who want to, private players specifically want to invest in Indian IPR. Then the low awareness education, as I have mentioned, the litigation, high litigation cost. This is also one of the concern, area of concern. The bureaucratic halder, the piracy and counterfeiting, the lack of IP commercialization in India, as I told, because lack of awareness, IPR commercialization is very less. Royalty, there was recently one news during the post operation Sindoor that two Indian students developed the drones for the Indian army, and that was suddenly means it was very important, strategic important, security important, so that was commercialized. But not all innovations lead to the commercial purpose, the commercial gains, and this demoralizes the people, individual efforts to support and to invest in the IPR. Okay, then the piracy, particularly geographical indication related, trademark related piracy issues are still persistent. They are more prominent not only in the patent but other things. Duplication of the patent also is there, trademarks is also there. Okay, so these are the issues which are hindering the overall IPR progress in India. Okay, so how and what are the ways through which we can address the overall India's this IPR challenges? So there are issue recommendations suggested by the first one, establish specific IP codes. Okay, establishment of the specific IP code in providing the more fund, not to the public PPP model. We can implement it as we have implemented in the infrastructure. Similarly, we can implement it in the our IPR system also, because IPR system is very important, and this is a backbone for India's overall to achieve the growth of India's means to achieve the goal of Vikasit Bharat. Backbone, then the awareness, education, health, even small micro level also can, micro level innovation can be patented. To reduce the cost, there should be the online portal. Now government has launched the online portal to reduce the time. Okay, so this is are the B.N. Krishna committee suggests for the specific codes. Okay, then this is the strengthening the enforcement, anti-piracy law, promote the IPI commercialization, expand the education awareness, increase the startups and MSME. So how law implement the police and judicial training, strengthen the anti-counterfeit development, then the TTOs, then at a global level, India have Trade and Technical Council, TTC, with India have set up with USA and EU to address the IPR related issues. This is very good cooperation at a global level, because India had raised the issue about the IPR violation in at a WTO platform. Okay, and India is considered as a world's pharmacy. So there should be the more patent on areas which India have strong command, like health sector, pharma sector. Okay, in promoting the awareness to the farmer, to the those who are producing small and marginal farmers in the MSME sectors. Those MSME sector contribute the chunk of huge chunk of the India's overall the economy. So that is going to help overall the building the strong IPR system in India. Okay, so this is the IPR enforcement startup. Then digital modernization, use of the digital offices, international cooperation, strengthening the R&D linkages. R&D linkages is very important, because if your mission is your any innovation is not going to be commercialized, then there is no use of spending money. Ultimately objective is to commercialize the things and make the use easy. Wearable device, there are a number of patent, I would say again, anything. If you want to invest, if you want to innovate, contribute and do register it. For that bureaucratic hurdle should be reduced, for that bureaucratic discrepancy should be addressed. Okay, so overall these are the IPR related issues, IPR related ways where we can make the India's IPR system very strong. Okay, by this note I will end our today's particularly this discussion on the IPR. Okay, but do remember IPR is very important topic for prelims also, mains also. What are the types of IPR, what is IPR, what are the organizations which deals with the IPR, the IPR related to the farmers, IPR related with the uh, IPR related to the patent, trademarks, okay, and IPR related to the biological environment related sources. They have different ministries which regulate. So always mention the data, always mention the schemes, always mention the progress. This will show little bit additional edge for your answer, and this will ultimately give you more marks. Okay, so this is our overall IPR, and IPR is foundation because innovation leads to the, as our honorable prime minister always says, the Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Innovation. That's the slogan. Okay, Jai Vigyan. Okay, so do remember innovation is important, and innovation is for the what you the Vikasit Bharat goal is paramount. Okay, so our Vikasit Bharat goal will be achieved by innovation and science. Okay, as this is the age of innovation and science. Okay, so by these notes I will end our this discussion. I will move forward to our next topic. The next topic is very important, and this topic deals with about yesterday's our honorable prime minister visited celebrated the Diwali with Indian naval forces. Okay, Indian naval forces on the on INS Vikrant. We have two aircraft carriers, INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. What are INS Vikrant? How this is helpful? What is the strategic implication, significance of INS Vikrant? What are the key facts of INS Vikrant? Okay, we are going to discuss too, because INS Vikrant is not a big something big, but do remember there will be the one or two questions in your prelims itself. What is the means, what exactly the defense related development, because India's defense export, India's defense connectivity, and India's robustness in the defense is shown. Recently there was one report which talks about India's air force beaten the have beaten the Chinese air force in the overall the development. Okay, so Indian naval forces, India's naval fleet is more stronger than the China, not only in the numbers but capability and testing time. Okay, so let's discuss the INS Vikrant, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier and the milestone in the naval self-reliance. Okay, so this is the news. Our honorable prime minister celebrated the Diwali on INS Vikrant. This INS Vikrant has very special features. Let me show you the special features. Okay, India's first indigenously developed aircraft carrier. Fleet deck is the size of two football grounds. See, this is the size of two football ground. This is taken from ABP News credit. We should give the credit to this. This image is just for the reference to just explain the topic. There is no purpose to commercialize this thing. Do remember this. Okay. Now, this is the features, like first aircraft carrier indigenously developed. The history started in 1919 when John Fernandez was the our defense minister. 1919 it was commercialized in means fully operational in 2022. Okay, it was get ready in this is a timeline 1999 then 1919 2013 2022. It was fully operational in 2023. Okay, see, this is the cost. Okay, then this is the knots, then this is top speed is 28 knots, then 23 computer air power, but this can be, this is a 262-meter long aircraft carrier. The strength, how many, see, at the capacity, has capacity of 30 aircraft at a moment, 15 deck multi-speciality hospital, full special. Okay, I will discuss this one. This is the image of the INS Vikrant. Okay, there are two tracks. One track goes like this and one track goes like this. Okay, so there are this aircraft carrier. This is the first entirely indigenously developed aircraft. This is a very big milestone achieved by Indian Defense Forces, and this is a first step, as USA have the very and large number of aircraft carriers. We have the operational two, and overall we have four. The commissioning date is September 2020. Indigenously designed naval engine. This is the this operational date is declared in December 2004. Okay. Then Western Naval Command. It is initially the Karwar base. Okay, aircraft capability. This is the aircraft capability. Strategic participate in the operations in the May. This is the importance. Around 17,000 sailors and the overall staff is there. Then the two football field like there. Okay, 30 aircraft at a time it can carry. Okay, so this is the INS Vikrant. Key features, technical features. Do remember the symbol of self-reliance. Okay, so these are the, now what is the importance? Why India invested this much amount of money, this much amount of time, around more than 20 years on this developing the INS Vikrant? It shows the India's strategic, India's self-reliance, and India's overall the focus on the self-reliance in its own domain. Okay, so the first is boost the naval power. If you remember, India have launched now Mahasagar vision. Earlier it was the Sagar vision to just focus on Indian Ocean. Now India have launched the Mahasagar vision. If you remember the Somali pirates, to counterfeit pirates, okay, expand the India's ability to power in the Indian Ocean region and beyond Indian Ocean. This is very, very important. And this INS Vikrant shows its power during the Operation Sindoor, because INS Vikrant completely blocked the Arabian Sea. If any naval ship is coming to help the Pakistan during that time, the INS Vikrant completely chalked the along with the 25 other aircrafts, completely blocked the Pakistan naval access to the outer sources. This is very critical point. See, remember, this was the Pakistan area. This was here from the Bombay, Bombay basin. Our naval ships were completely surrounded by this area, Arabian Sea area. Okay, this blocked the Pakistan's access to any other navy supply, because blocking the sea route is important to stop the any additional warfare ammunition supply to the any enemy country. And in this, INS Vikrant played very crucial role during the Operation Sindoor. Okay, so this is the boosting the naval power, the maritime risk, the strategic importance. Okay, what is the strategic importance? Enhance the India's capability in regional threats. Like if you see, there are Somali pirates is continuously persistent, which always hamper the India's overall presence. And India's naval, yesterday there was on the off the coast of Yemen, Indian Navy saved the 25 crabs, which was LPG cylinder was busted, and Indian Navy was the first who responded, the first in the save the lives of the 25 crew members. This is India's presence, and India is dominating. India is dominating the Indian Ocean region. But do remember, this dominance has been challenged by the China and other navies. Okay, but INS Vikrant provide one more most important additional edge to Indian Navy. Okay, this weights, its ground, everything. The next one is a operational capability, national pride. This serve as our honorable Prime Minister serve as the INS symbol. INS Vikrant is a pride for Bharat. Okay, Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is the overall technological advancement, training platform, diplomatic significance, and this raises the India's standard, India's stake at a global level, that the naval power, not only the army power but overall the armed forces power. Even air force, our India's air force is very strong. Then India's naval force is also very strong presence. And this INS Vikrant added the reinforces this assertion that India is a naval power. Okay, so this is overall India's INS Vikrant development and the defense technology. If I say the defense technology, defense industry overall, the export of defense industry is increased from the 600 crore to 23,000 CR in last 10 years. This is a very big milestone achievement for Indian uh, Indian defense corridors and development of the recently first BrahMos missile has been manufactured at a Lucknow manufacturing hub. This is also big achievement. India is more self-relying on the uh, own technology in the defense, because at the time of war, during the Operation Sindoor, we realized that we have to help ourselves only. At the time of war, at the critical juncture, no one will help us to support. Even though Russia is technologically helping, even though France is providing the Rafale, but do remember at the time of war, even the Indian strategic think tank also know this. At the time of war, India should not depend on other country to support it. And this is the best example during the Iran and Israel war. There were around completely shut down. Means Iran's air force is coming, Israel's air force is coming, bombarding on the Iran's territory. This should not happen. We have the Samudra Brahmastra mission is, we have the S-400 missile defense system. We have the now this the naval power. The 360-degree coverage of India is done by the Indian defense forces, and this is very big achievement. Okay, in this note, India should remember the challenges posed by India's defense power through the assertive China, developing the China's culture and the China's presence in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so how to counter this? There is India's settlement of the recently the means integrated one command service, one command act of 2023, which provides the joint operation, the coordination in enhancing the coordination between three services of the armed forces. Okay, so this is need to be done. This need to be implemented, and this is on the ground. And the collective effort shown during the operations Sindoor shows that in the coming year, so-called gray zone warfare, so-called technological warfare, our armed forces should be strong, not only on the physical but in the advancement and the self-reliance also. And INS Vikrant is the best example how our own development can help for us to save the money, also to provide the employment, also and to protect the India from the any enemy war or alliance. Okay, so do remember this article related to INS Vikrant. Okay, at the last I will discuss about the India Brazil ties, because India, as Brazil's foreign minister, as Brazil's president mentioned that they will raise the India Brazil ties with at a strategic alliance level. This is important because India Brazil have the convergence at a BRICS. Okay, at a BRICS, then G4 countries. Okay, then IBSA. These are the at a regional bilateral level. India sugarcane. Okay, Brazil. Then India ethanol. Okay, India medical hub. Okay, then Brazil, you can see the importance of the security level in WTO level. Okay, so these are the areas of cooperation where India and Brazil are cooperating, and they want to now raise their bilateral ties at a strategic level, because this is what this is going to be very tremendous. Why this is suddenly changing the Brazil's mindset? Reason is the so-called whimsical approach of the Western countries, and to be specific, US's President Donald Trump. This led to see Brazil and India is only two countries which are facing the 50% tariff from the USA. Okay, now China we can add, and USA deliberately want to weaken the emerging economies, want to protect their hegemony, and India and Brazil, they are not letting giving the space to USA to develop their own. And even during the G20 recent summit, Brazil also declared the one more sustainable development goal than the elevation of the poverty alliance declared by during the Brazil presidency of the G20. This shows that now the global south emerging economies also contributing for the overall global frame, means framing the rules of global order, political order. Now, whimsical actions of USA, this setting up the global agendas, and individually bilaterally helping to each other. That's why the Brazil president explicitly want to have the strategic partnership with India, and the strategic partnership is not in the means harming anyone, but to contain the other powers. And this is helpful for India also, as India is looking for the diversification of its trade. If India is looking for the means big markets, India is looking for the areas where means state which are cooperative with India, and they are treating India with respect and with fulfilling the India's national interest. Okay, but does this path is easy and smooth? There are a number of challenges as China is growing its presence. China is giving the support to the Brazil. China is showing the more interest in the Latin America. And if India engage with the world most important country of Latin America, and largest country by geography of Latin America, that is Brazil, it will help India to raise its status at a global power. But the China constraint, US factor, then the distance factor, there are certain bilateral issues which are like Bolsonaro openly criticized India's stand on during the Zen Bolsonaro's presidency. This ultimately hampers the India's prospect bilateral ties with the Brazil. So how India can manage this at the global level, global uncertainty wins, and how India can manage the bilateral ties with Brazil. So best option for this is the like managing the ties India can do. Way forward, I would say ki India how can manage the bilateral ties with Brazil. So first one is obviously to bilateral engagement. Okay, then the next one is a engagement at a BRICS, engagement at a IBSA, engagement at a B4. Okay, then engagement in the service sector, trade, defense. It's a bilateral only, but engagement at a global level. If you see the global level, this G4 membership is very important in this domain to promote the G4 countries partner. G4 countries are the countries which are calling for the reform at the UNSC. Okay, G4 country include the India, South Africa, Brazil, and Germany. Okay, so how this bilateral level discussion and dialogue in adopting the best agriculture practices from the India can learn the good practices from the Brazil related to the sugar cane, rubber. Okay, all these are industries which are more prominent in the Brazil. Then engagement at the BRICS, both are the members of BRICS, which are talking about the de-dollarization, which are talking about the BRICS currency that is going to help IBSA, which is a India Brazil South Africa platform, which promote the global South cooperation. Okay, then the security level, there will be the issues of the terrorism for the India also and Brazil also, they can address this. Then the service sector also, India have the advantage. India can support the Brazil, as Brazil is not that much advanced in the tech service sector. So India's service sector, India can advance the FTA with Brazil also. Then the trade related aspect, trade related ties, India can raise the issue with by addressing the global. Means there was one issue at the WTO. Brazil raised the subsidies given to the sugar cane, so that can be addressed through the FTA. Okay, then trade related aspect. Then the defense, India have the very strong defense force compared to the Brazil, and this strong force can help India to reduce the overall Brazil's dependency on China, Brazil's dependency on the other countries. Then the particular global level, the G4 countries, as I told, the G4 countries want to support, they want to reform, and the vocal for the cause of global South and overall the development of the global South. So these are the ways where India can contribute India and Brazil can contribute together and resolve their bilateral issues and contribute for the overall development and taking their bilateral ties to the strategic alliance level. Because if you declare any country as a strategic alliance, this is going to be a very game changer for India in the context of Latin America. India should give more attention. The last frontier should be the first frontier of India's diplomatic engagement, as India is investing too much in diplomatic efforts at the Africa. Same level, India should invest in the Latin America also. And Brazil is the door which will open the ample amount of scope for India to engage with other Latin American countries. India is already engaging with the CARICOM countries. India has a very good practice. India is adopting the good agriculture practices from the Brazil also. These are the ways where India and Brazil can maintain their bilateral ties and can reinforce, and also they reinforce their bilateral ties. Okay, so overall, this our India Brazil bilateral ties. Okay, now one more thing. Last, because of this air pollution and everything, there was a discussion about once again the discussion about the cloud setting and artificial rainfall. Okay, artificial rainfall, and then the thunderstorm in the South India is announced by the IMD. So 2025, what are the chemicals used for the artificial rainfall is used asked by the UPSC. So do remember what are the chemicals used for the artificial rainfall, what are the mechanism for artificial rainfall, and why artificial rainfall is needed, how this is impacting, okay, how it will influence the overall air quality. Okay, so do remember this. Today we have discussed the around 4 topics. Okay, we have discussed the Diwali, we have discussed the VPO, we have discussed the INS Vikrant. Okay, effectively 3 topics. Then we have discussed the India Brazil ties. Okay, so overall, and then the last one is you can mention the topics about the cloud seeding, chemicals used. This is a very effective method to reduce the air pollution, but this is a short term measure. We have to focus on the long term measures also. Okay, this is the overall our today's discussion. I would once again mention that don't waste too much time on the festive season now. Along with festive season, do spend on your studies, as we are entering in the next week. This week already, yesterday was a Monday, now today we have left with only 10 weeks. Okay, 10 weeks, 4 days for the mains come prelims, and then the prelims. We have just left with 216 days. If anyone want the well full well guided how to study, what to study, when to study, and from where to study, sources, then you can join our Sankalp Sathi mentorship program. Initial sessions are free of cost. If you anyone is interested to Sankalp Sathi, they can join our Sankalp Sathi mentorship. By then, have a eco-friendly Diwali. Enjoy your Diwali along with study well, spend good time with your family, keep everyone smiling. Okay. By this note, I will end our my today's discussion. Jai Hind.